We are talking about Town Hall 10 hit-ups. Now, this is a fresh hit on this base, so I was like, you know what? The reason why I thought they had a Hound in the CC, the previous two 11s that we hit, or three of them I think, had Hound CC, so I was going to, let me stop it here and tell you what my game plan was. Now, I'm going to put the Queen down here first. I'm going to do a Witches here on the south side, and then Bowler and Golem push in the middle. And the Queen goes down first. Look, I noticed I did not put the Golem up to the top because it would go to the 12 o'clock. I did not want that because then we get stuck on the corner. I want it to come right here. So I put the Queen down first, clear this out, then after the gold mine, right when it's about to drop, I then put the Golem down, Tesla pops, then I actually add a Witch here to help out the Queen. Now this was on purpose. The Witch was supposed to go there to help out the Queen, and the reason for that is just providing some tanks, some skellies, some help with the offense as well. And it was definitely needed because there's two Teslas up here that I was not expecting. And the worst thing, honestly, that occurred that really threw me off and I thought I was going to lose, I barely got this down, was the CC. Now, of course, the CC, when it wasn't a Hound that popped out, I was like, oh my goodness, I have failed. I don't have anything to take care of the baby dragon. This is going to be serious problems indeed. So I had to think quick on my feet. I was like, okay, I am going to put a Rage down first. I'm going to put some Giants here for tanking. There goes the Bowlers behind. This is funneling, and then the Witches right behind that to take down the Mortar. And thankfully, the Witches do get down the CC with the poison. So very nicely done. However, the Witches will die off pretty quickly on the sides. Just because, see the CC, look. See how the CC lured my troops to the Witches and the enemy CC? That was a problem on the funnel side. So I honestly thought I was not going to get this down. You can tell very coming down to the wire. It was like way close. So close indeed. I was like, how am I going to get this down? But thankfully was able to take down this base before, well, just barely. It really came down to this clutch minion and archers on the side. Town Hall does drop, but look what's happening here. The EA is happening, and I've got 2% more. This archer tower drops, and then I got that little builder on the outside with the 2 archers and the minion for the 50% before the mortar takes out everything, and the EA, well, I recovered. Fresh hits are tough indeed. We have another base now, Dasher showing us how it's done. Now, lots of strategies to use on bases like this. Maybe you've seen it. Pretty common base in the sense of anti-2. You see variations of these bases. And the meta's definitely gotten a little bit better. Town Hall 11 base building's gotten better. And to only get harder as well with updates coming out. But anyways, look what he's got going for him here. Using archers to get percentage and these bowlers. Now, this is giving up quite a bit from the defender to get those buildings down. So that is a little base design flaw, I think. Gonna need to change that one if you're gonna rock this base again. However, coming in with a naked golem walk, and he's got hogs here to take down the mortar. And gonna step on in and maybe get the archer tower, just maybe, at least put some damage on the archer tower, if not take it down, but got quite a bit of damage. The Queen will finish it off, and that's nicely done. Now you can tell exactly what's happening. What was the point of all that on the Queen side? It's the funnel, guys. It's funneling from 3, and then here comes the 6 o'clock funnel with a Rage. Now, you already know where he's going to enter. The whole point of this is to get your kill squad into the core. Now, of course, you always have to think about percentage on these bases. That's the main issue, or one of the main issues with these attacks. But the funnel is there. There's pretty much nowhere but for the bowlers and Valkyries to go into the core. Valkyries are used to help trigger bombs, also get to the town hall, and with the king and queen the king ability, able to take this down very, very quickly. Now, of course, the danger of attacks when you push in is like, how many bowlers do you actually need to get down the town hall? He actually didn't need that many. You could tell once the bowlers stepped in, they got melted by the infernos. So the town hall was taken down, but the value of the bowlers after it was nothing. So that means he could have brought more cleanup. That is hard to find out. I will say how much cleanup you bring, how many bowlers, because if you misjudge and you don't have enough firepower to get to the core, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to end up failing. You're going to end up failing indeed. So we have another base. This time, Hero is showing us how it's done. Again, lots of different bases I'm providing for you. Of course, this was a second hit on the base. We already knew there was a Hound in the CC. And when there's a Hound in the CC, of course, it does defeat. It's very hard to know that. Again, a fresh hit, you can easily, not easily defend, but it makes the attacker have to rethink, and it's very difficult. Now that we know that there's a Hound in the CC, you can lure it out and kill it with baby dragons, and then that means you can put your queen into the core. She can get a lot of value taking down the town hall, taking structures down in the middle. So again, that is the danger of the Hound. You know, the Hound works really well on fresh hits. On subsequent hits, not so much, because you can lure out the clan castle. You can do a lot of things to work around it. But here is coming Hero and hot at you, coming at your service. Okay, now of course we already know what he's doing. Pretty standard. I always mention it. Why entering on this side? Well, he's creating funnel over here, guys. He's creating funnel, and the wall breakers are there so the bowlers will not rock around the base. Okay, it's not rocket science. It's not that hard. Here comes the other side of the funnel. You can already tell. Look exactly where the bowlers and the king and everything are going to path. They have nowhere but to go, but pretty much the town hall. Now there is going to be a lot of chaoticness. You don't know if the queen will path inside to the town hall. But because the queen stays back a little bit and there's Valkyries and bowlers in front, that means they clear the funnel side and then the queen usually steps in. So imagine there's a Hound here. Look what happens. The CC locks onto the queen dies, and guess what? No town hall down. It's a fail. So again, it really helps to know what's in the clan castle on these attacks, but very nicely done. I like the combination of bringing Valkyries and bowlers. You notice what he did. The funnel wasn't quite there, but because the Valkyries pushed first and the bowlers pushed first into the base, what that means is the queen will step in from behind, usually go directs to the town hall, and that's exactly what happens. So again, make sure you put your Valkyries and bowlers and king down first, then you place your queen at the very end. Does it make sense, my friends? I hope it does, because it should make sense, and you've hit a lot of these bases before. But let's show an attack from Domination taking on yet another base. Now this is very interesting. Lots of Valkyries. Now this is a little bit more Valkyries than typical. Sometimes you only bring maybe 6 Valkyries when you're bringing Valkyries and bowlers, or maybe 7, maybe 8, but bringing 10, that's extra firepower. So that means the bowlers are really going to be used for funneling, and you're only going to have a couple bowlers to push inside the base. So just to be aware of that. Again, very nicely done on this, using some cleanup on the outside. Try not to give away that much stuff, guys. If you're a Town Hall 11, you don't want to give away all these free buildings, all those free percentage. It's just too easy for you. Now look what he's got. He's using king and bowlers to funnel, and then a naked golem walk on the outside, and then Valkyrie push to the core. Now 3 golems here was quite a bit. You actually could have dropped a golem, because this time the golems weren't tanking in the sense of the Valkyries are going to kind of push in front of them. So I would have actually dropped maybe one of the golems, brought some more bowlers, or brought some more Valkyries. That way you would have a little bit more firepower offensively than having your golems there. The Town Hall did drop, and luckily the queen is going to finish up with the percentage. And see, he's got golems left. You know you've brought too many golems when all that's left on the board are 2 golems up. He had 2 golems up still at the very end. So drop one of those golems, bring some Valkyries or bring some bowlers, and that will give you more percentage. That'll give you more cleanup. You could either bring a baby dragon with that. You could bring lots of different things. So again, it just depends on the base you're hitting, but nicely done from Domination. I mean, I'm only saying, you know, sometimes when people, when I constructively criticize, I do this on my own attacks. It's not because he got a 2-star, a great 2-star. I'm saying to get more percentage, he could have dropped a golem. Does that make sense? He could have dropped a golem, or even maybe 2 golems, depending. Yes, we did lose, but they did have an extra Town Hall 11. So, yeah. You know what? Let's show Domination's 6-pack in the war. Let's see what he's got going this time. Again, he's bringing 3 golems, 10 bowlers, and Valkyries. Again, strategy, man, strategy. Lots of different strategies in this game. Gonna bring in a naked Golem walk. It looks like he's gonna do the exact same thing. And he's got a king and bowlers on the side for the funnel, and then he's got a naked Golem walk kind of, and then 3 Golem push. Now, I understand his reasoning in the sense of 3 Golems. The Golems are there for the tank. However, because he's bringing so many Valkyries, see, the Valkyries get ahead of the Golems. You see how they're getting out in front of them? And they're getting taken, they're getting hit by some of these buildings here, and the Golems kind of stay behind. It's usually better if you're going to bring that many Valkyries to either go more Valkyries or more bowlers and less Golems. Look what's happened yet again. I mean, I know he got the 2-star, and you're like, well, what are you talking about, Halo Okraheads? You got a 2-star, man. Who are you to say that? Well, all I'm saying is it's about, everything's about timing. Everything's about the right troop composition and getting the job done. You don't want to Golem off by himself. I mean, the value's just not there. So that means that tank Golem was not needed at the beginning. He could have brought a baby dragon. He could have brought loons. I mean, you get sometimes, or hogs or something, or wizards or bowlers or Valkyries, something to get more percentage. But again, nice 2-star. Just letting you know that. Proof in the pudding. That is proof in the pudding that sometimes it's all about the troop composition, and Mikey got a 66%. Oh, nice. Let's use this. Queen walk into drags for the 2-star on a Town Hall 11. Very nicely done here. Indeed. Going to bring in, oh no, are they going to get it down? Do they? Okay, they get it down. Whew, that was close. Nicely done there. Bringing in enough loons, and that's just percentage. That whole thing was just for percent, guys. Always look for free percentage, like this cannon over here with the minion, or using tricks like using loons and getting quite a bit of defensive buildings down. It's totally worth the loons there. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 loons there. So we'll speed up the queen walk. The queen will get the job done. Queen is here for funneling, just to make sure she gets all this for the dragons. Now, the value of this strategy is you're going to be able to put the dragons and get pretty high percentage at that as well. He got a 66% because he understood this was a second hit on the base. It was the second dragon hit on it, and he tweaked it a little bit. Just enough tweaking to get to enable his bowlers to come at 3 o'clock. Look at all that value. Here comes the dragons and the core. And thankfully, the Hound shifted over to the Queen and did not go to the dragons. That could have been very dangerous. Only had 2 dragons on the Town Hall to get it down, but with that rage, very nicely done. And that is how you get this base down, using a Queen walk into dragons. Very nice, Mikey. Very nice indeed. Look at this. OP dragons. OP dragons. Getting so much work done. My friends, thanks for watching. Come back again. Attack. Get going. Clash on. Halo out.